Good.
All right, Robert and Ruby.
Hello, hello.
So it's Robert Cantu,
Robert Cantu.
Cantu, and Ruby
Elian.
Elian. How do you spell the last name?
Elian.
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 Oh, pretty cool. Pretty cool name. So thank you for, first of all, thanks for coming down.
Thank you
Double
for
Days
having us.
Podcast. You guys are in the film industry,
Yes,
which
sir.
is cool. I like being a little bit more just than dealing with the comedians all the time, right? They're here just, cutting up and laughing and yelling and throwing F-bombs every second. So this is good because I get tired of hearing that sometimes. So I'd like to hear a little bit about what you guys, first of all, let me hear a little bit about yourself, a little bio, if you could. We'll start with you.
All right. Yeah, I was born in Corpus Christi, but raised in Houston. And I've always been intrigued with filmmaking and everything. And I have no one in my family connected to that. I just kind of learned everything on my own. And back in 1998, I moved to LA by myself. And got into learning about the industry there for 5 years. And
What actually got you intrigued? Like, did you work at a set, or did you walk by, or did you go to a movie and said, I want to do that, or?
I saw David Lynch's Blue Velvet.
Oh, okay.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
Before the film, I love film. After I saw, mid-course the film, I want to make movies, watching it.
Okay.
And I've been obsessed with that film and everything in every way. I know. You show me a snippet of it, and I know it's Blue Velvet. You can't even show me a fraction of a frame. I know everything about it. So, I was very into it, and I wanted to continue making movies or get more involved. And so when I moved to LA, all I did. I just see film crew, stop. Here's my resume. I would love to help out. And in 1 year, I made my first film. And
They're in LA?
in LA, yeah. I made 3 films in LA, short films in LA. And it took me 4 years to find my genre as a filmmaker. Because I was just out there thinking, oh my God, I could do something like Kubrick, or I can do something like David Lynch. And it just, no.
And that was one of the questions when we were talking earlier that I wanted to ask the directors is, do you stick to one genre, or do you have, I like to do some rom-coms, I'd like to do some thrillers, maybe a little drama, or do you just kind of stick to one genre of?
Yeah, finding a genre for me is very important. That's how you excel in this industry. I mean, Spielberg doesn't do comedies, James Cameron doesn't do rom-coms. Why? Because they're good at what they do, and Clint Eastwood doesn't do rom-coms. And Oliver Stone don't do rom-coms, because they're good at what they do, and I love the film noir genre, and I just really learned from that. And a lot of my good directors I follow, they don't make film noir, but it's in that they're touching base on film noir. But I took it further where I want to learn everything about film noir, and that's all I've been making now.
Oh, okay. That's nice. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Ruby.
Yeah, so, first and foremost, I consider myself just overall a creative. I am an actress, but I've been performing ever since I was like 2 years old, and my parents put me on stage for tap dancing. So I really have been performing pretty much my entire life, all throughout high school, middle school. I did plays, community theater, that kind of thing. But I didn't really start pursuing it professionally until about 2 years after I graduated. When I just decided now is the time. I want to do it. I want to go all in, and I want to see, how that journey goes, because, you don't get anywhere unless you actually do it.
Right. And was there a certain thing that triggered that you saw a movie, or you saw an actress, or you saw something that just said, okay, now I want to go all in on this. I want to try to pursue this.
I gotta say, I have always felt that there was just a story to tell. I can't say that there was one singular moment where I was like, okay, I want to be an actress. I want to be in film. I've always loved movies. I've watched them my whole life. I got my favorites like everyone else. But I think it was just because I also love writing. I love cinematography. I love just the filmmaking process in general. So it just made sense to really just pursue it in the name of trying to build characters, trying to, you know, be a part of that creativity.
Okay, yeah. Is there a certain, I guess, genre of movie that you like more so than others? And have you dabbled a little bit in everything, or has it just been specific genre?
Well, I haven't, gotten to really try every single genre. I do find that I am more, into the drama side.
Okay.
People like my face. They like what I can do for, more intense, more like narrative focused
Okay.
type work. I haven't really got to do comedy. I would say for my own personal preference, I love musicals. I love romantic tragedies. I love movies, not a specific genre, I'd say, but where characters like really go through like an introspective, almost like an emotional breakdown of some sort. So if I'm watching a movie and I can really tell like the characters themselves are what's driving the force versus like the story,
All right.
then that's usually a favorite.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So, Robert, tell me a little bit about maybe some of your early work. I know we were talking about that earlier about if you could just let us know what was going on there and what were you kind of aiming for early on.
Well, first you got to learn. You got to do it instead of just talk about it. And I just rushed to do something, just to have something. Hey, I made a film. I shot on 35. At the time, digital didn't exist in 1998. So I shot on 35 millimeter.
Oh.
I had the DP, I had the whole crew, and you find them out there in LA, easy. And so I just needed something to make. I wrote this thing, and it was just so pretentious, and so it's everything I'm against now. To be honest, it's everything. And I see that in other filmmakers. I just like, oh, they haven't found themselves yet. At least that's what I think. And it was just the first attempt. This is a basic amateur approach.
Okay.
Then the next one was the same, and then someone sat me down and told me, you got to find something. Your characters need to be, you got to go in more. Your characters are not real. And I started thinking about it, and then, I just really found that genre, the film noir genre, really spoke to me more. It really spoke to me, just like if you meet someone and there's your love at first sight or something. It's just like that. Film noir really opened up to me, and I seem to be really more intrigued by it.
Okay.
And I love flawed characters, and I think that's what it is. I love flawed characters. Seeing good people do bad things. Seeing bad people persuade people to do more bad things. I love that. Yeah. And that's where I kind of just stepped. And my third film was about a cop, same thing, and called suspended homicide or something like that. And just that's when I knew. For the first time, I felt like, all right, I found it. And I never looked back. And then I made a fan film called Jason Z. And, where Jason is now fighting zombies. That's what the Z means. And I did that, got my beak wet again, because it was like a 15-year gap of making films. And that was so great. I had a great cinematographer in LA and everything. And then after that, I moved to San Antonio, made my first film noir officially, and just making it ever since. Now I think I have 7 under my belt.
7. Now, are you writing all of these?
Yes, all these are written, directed, and self-financed. Also. Yeah. I don't know how to do all that crowdfundings and other stuff. That's just a different world that I have yet to experience. I just found it also like, hey, man, I can get it done faster and better if I self-finance it. So.
Okay. All right. Ruby, how about some of your early acting roles?
Yeah, so early on, it was kind of almost like a stereotype to kind of fall into the typecast of being like the mean girl, like the high school mean girl, the influencer, the makeup artist, that kind of thing. So that was really a lot of my early stuff. I got to my very first like big girl role that I was excited about was playing a makeup influencer in a short film called Something to Look For. And that was shot in Austin. But I basically got to play the lead of that film, where it's just this character that it's kind of like an introspective look at social media and how that affects, just our personalities and how we interact with people in the outside world and how lonely that really kind of makes us feel. Even though there's all this like access to communication, it's almost like we're all in our own bubble. And so that was what was happening with this makeup influencer, where she's got all these followers, all this fame, but like no one really knows her and no one really knows anything about her. Do they even like her? And so that's kind of the role was essentially looking at that. And that breakdown that kind of happens
Okay.
when it just gets to be too much and she gets too big and she gets too aware, I guess, of that isolation. And then, of course, I've had other kind of entitled model roles. But really, I would say that this film that I got to work on with Robert was my shift from that, more fluffy, kind of like easy roles, I would say,
Yeah.
to something maybe a little more challenging, a little more gritty, a little more intense. So yeah, I would say a lot of early stuff. Wow. I love it, and I would still do it.
Yeah.
Like, if someone came to me tomorrow and was like, "Hey, I got this perfect role for you. It's an influencer. You're gonna be, laughing and obnoxious," I'd be like, "Oh yeah, sign me up. I'm there."
Yeah. Well, that's good. So let's talk about toxic abuse.
Yes,
Because I think this is what we really, really want to kind of talk about. And first, how did you guys meet? How did you?
Well, I saw her. I got her feed somehow as a model. So I reached out to her. Hey, I'm a photographer. If you need any portraits, I'd love to take photos of you. I mean, she's gorgeous. Right? How wouldn't you not want to take photos of her? And then I saw her Instagram. Oh my God, she's an actress too. And I thought, well, let me throw this script in there. Maybe I get 2 for 1. And I sent it to her. That's it. She said yes. I sent it to her. And she sent me an audition without any direction or tips. She just gave it to me. And when I saw it, that's it. This is her. Because I've been sitting on this thing for a year and a half. Not that these were bad actors. I just wanted the right actress for it. And I had a lot of actresses. And some of them I worked with after this film too, where they just wasn't right for the role. Just, maybe just gave me something like, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I didn't even have to give her any more direction. She just like, it's your role. And I agreed to do it without even talking to my wife about to do it.
Right.
I had no idea how I was going to make this film. And I already told her yes. It's like a white lie. But I said, you know what? But I have I've done so many other films where, you just put it together. So you just copy and paste, repeat what you did previously. So, and, that's how I met her. And we met at a Starbucks. We talked, and I was like, oh my God, this is what's her name? The character's name.
Rachel.
Rachel. This is Detective Rachel. This is Detective Rachel just right here in the flesh. And, I drove home just like, oh my God, I can't believe I found it. Because it was so hard to find these actresses when I was meeting other actresses for it. It's just like you don't want to tell them how to act. You just want them to do it for themselves, and you're just not getting the edginess that I was looking for. And
now, do you? I guess whenever you are shooting, do you have to go and tell her, "Hey, I need you more intense," or are you pretty much just saying, "Okay, this is the character that you are. This is what I want," and you just kind of let your actors go out and do what they do, or
with Ruby, I didn't have to do that. I just left her alone and we just shot. Sometimes I did stuff that she didn't even know was going to happen just to get that reaction. But I knew that I didn't have to do that with her. Some actors you do, but I didn't have to do that with her. She just knew. As long as she understood my narrative, then we're good. You can throw anything at me as long as it's to the narrative that we're doing.
Okay.
And we did some freestyle takes where it was just like, wow, this has nothing to do with me. This is all her.
Okay.
And so sometimes you have an actor who knows everything. You just leave them alone. Just like a pitcher pitching a no-hitter. You leave them alone. 7th inning, you don't talk to them. You don't even look at them.
Yeah.
Same thing with the actor.
Okay.
Some actors are kind of like, it's not that they need to be catered, just, a little more back and forth and, let them know, hey, let's go here. Let's do this. Let's keep it here.
Okay. And so I guess hearing that, were you asking Robert, hey, am I doing this right? Or were you having that dialogue, or you pretty much felt already, I think I got this role. I think I know what I'm doing here. I've read the script.
Yeah.
I know.
It was definitely more, I guess, the way that I kind of like bring myself to the role is I really like to be in the role. I don't like to, like, line memorization is kind of wonky in terms of like the more we run this scene, the more I'm in this character, in the flesh. And the more that I hear the words, the more I'm reacting. And the more my environment becomes the environment of the character versus me acting in a film. So there would be times where, you know, we'd have like a really great take. And like he said, we'd be filming stuff where it was just totally improv. Like he said, okay, we're going to run this scene, but I want you to just do it totally different. Like, just give me something. And we would run it. And it would just be me as the character in this world interacting, you know, still with the theme of the scene and the general idea of where we're going. But it's just giving it something different. Like, almost like I'm the character and I get to write a little bit more of her story that we maybe never got to see, you know, in anything else. The car scene that we filmed with Riley was specifically one of those scenes where I just was so fun because it was like improv. Like, we shot it, you know how he wrote it a couple times. But then we got to improv a totally different conversation. And I think some of those did end up actually being in the final cut.
Oh, okay.
But when it came to, like, you know, asking, oh, well, you know what, I'm a very, like, secure sounds almost like I'm like tooting my own horn a bit, but I'm very secure in my acting and the choices that I like to make. So I do really appreciate it when a director is kind of more hands off and just kind of lets me dance with the character and do.
And I would think that a director would probably would want that, right? Because if they see confidence automatically, then they're like, oh, okay, yeah, this person knows what you know.
Absolutely. I mean, trust is everything. If you trust that your actor is going to show up and do the best damn job that they can on set and give you the best work that they have to give that day, that's usually like the moneymaker.
Yeah.
That makes your job easier. It makes your staff easier. Everything just falls into place.
Well, I knew I could do that with her because I already got the takes. 3 takes were done. I was like, well, now we're here. Let's just continue doing more. I knew I probably can get more out of her that I haven't even thought of. And she did. You know, and that's where that comes from, too. Sometimes if an actor's just kind of like, okay, they're not giving me more than what I want. As long as we got the takes, let's move on. But I knew that we got the takes. Every 3 takes was spot on. So that's when I knew, okay, I looked at Advice. I think we're done. Just keep going.
We went too fast. We need to do more.
Yeah, so we got it. And I decided, let's do a freestyle. And she did almost like a 90-minute scene. 90 seconds, sorry. 90 seconds.
I'm like, what? That's crazy.
90 seconds.
Yeah, 90
just
seconds.
Like a whole
Where did I
take all
go?
of her own. And she outed the character,
Wow.
you know, and she did that on her own.
Wow. So you looked at that and you go, okay, yeah, that's exactly what I want. I don't even need to go there.
Well, it was just more than enough for the editor to play with, too, to work with. The more you give the editor, the more you get.
Yeah, the more they get. Yeah.
And that's important to me too when I'm doing acting, because it's like, you know, you have what your director wants, which is, you know, you usually talk about it beforehand, like, hey, let's make sure we're both on the same page here. But then there's little choices that you feel like in your heart you could make, and you kind of slip them in, and then it's like, okay, like, were you feeling that? Was that a good one? Did we like that? And then it gives the editor just so much different stuff, because like a beat maybe didn't feel right like in that moment, but looking back on it at camera, like later on when you're editing, it would be like, oh, that worked so well, like from this moment, you know, 10 minutes ago. Like, I can't believe, who would have thought of that?
How far along are you with Toxic Abuse? I mean, are we already ready to premiere? Is it out there already?
Yeah, it's out there.
Okay.
It's at premiere. It's at film festivals. It's screened about, you know, I think 4 or 5 film festivals.
Are you streaming in it?
Not yet. I'm going to
Okay.
hold off on. I'm going to do the film festival circuit, and then.
It's been having a fabulous run.
Really?
We've got quite a few awards, so I feel like he's holding on for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got one this weekend in Huntsville.
Okay.
And this is the trailer, not the movie, but the trailer got accepted. And my friend from Argentina, he edited the trailer. I said, hey, make me a trailer. And there it was. I was like, fuck, this is great. I mean, he goes, that's it? Because I thought you were going to send it back and correct everything. No, leave it as is.
Wow.
And he did the music, everything. It was just a great trailer.
How long did it take you to actually from start to finish for Toxic Abuse?
Probably 6 months.
6 months,
6
okay.
months to have the first cut. But I shot this film for the first time bi-weekly and months, too, because of these characters. This is the first script where I didn't have to have all the characters together. I can do it separately and then work out those scenes when they need to come.
Now, is this considered full feature, or what is this going to be
Well, it's
considered?
a short film.
Short film? Okay, short film. And can you speak of about it a little bit?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, there's a lot of. I always wanted to tackle alcoholism, and especially a cop being an alcoholic. And I just wanted to show the perspective of the people around an alcoholic, how they deal with them, instead of we always saw the version of the alcoholic and what they go through, and how they have to go to AA and sit around the table and talk about their feelings, And that's kind of like, all right, that's just so on overkill now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one where how it affects the people around them, their coworkers, their love life, their job, just themselves at home by themselves, and just to see how they have a meltdown like that, and how it affects their job performances. People have to deal with them because it's not just they're hurting; the people around them hurts. And I just wanted to see a story like that. I haven't seen that.
So you would consider this more drama? It's more of a drama in the sense that it's drama for the people around.
Oh yes, 100%.
The actual alcoholic, Rachel, I guess it would be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
So okay, and she's just just a regular street cop?
No, she's a detective, a homicide detective, and right now she has a big meltdown at a heist scene, and that's where everything falls down with her. And Steven's in that. Steven Andrews, he plays her captain. And,
Okay.
I have Riley Rodriguez that's in it, local actress here. I think she's in Landman and Cinderella Dream.
Oh, okay.
She played a part in it. So, but yeah, it's a strong narrative about it, and I just wanted to show that alcoholism, it can be affected by people around them too, not just themselves. And they can't get help, and no one can help them. They got to help themselves.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, at a certain point, I guess those people have to say, they have to have that moment, I guess, right? Where they look around and maybe they're like, wait a minute here. Like, it's not really these people. It's just been me the whole time.
we see that at the end of the film. We see that with her.
I mean, if I were to sum up, my character and kind of the journey that we go through in this film, this is a film about a woman destroying herself and not really caring that she's doing it, and not really caring that the other people are seeing it and telling her, and all the warning signs and everything is right there. And it's not necessarily that I don't personally get the feeling that Rachel feels bad about anything she's doing. I get that she is very confident. She's very arrogant. She's a fabulous detective. She knows what she's doing. She's gotten all the ranks. She's always been very praise heavy her whole life. And so now when we're reaching this point where we're at this climax and everything starts going wrong, she's very angry. She's lashing out. She's blaming others. It's the whole world's problem. I'm the only one. Like, oh, it's me. Until, we reach that climactic point where it's cut. Like, you have no more chances. And we get to see what that looks like in a person's perspective when up until this point, they were very loud, very flirty, very full of life, just doing their thing. And, to the audience, it's very destructive. It's almost like a violent force. But to her, she's just having a great time. And so when you finally hit that wall at the end, we get to see what happens when the party's over. And I think that's the really key, interesting part of the entire film.
What feelings do you think that Rachel has in this role? Like, what feelings did you have to, I guess, put on film that are outside of just your everyday yourself, right? Just regular Ruby.
Yeah.
What is it? Was it anger? Was it I don't know any?
Well, absolutely. I mean, all the things. I mean, humanity itself it's not just a one note. Like, there is humor in anger. There is sadness in comedy. There's...
Yeah, I guess that's what I guess I should have said. Was it more sadness, right? Even though she's laughing and stuff, you had to have that sadness in the back, or that angry, or was she a depressed person?
Just definitely, and I have to say, I don't really feel like to me, as a tether, as somebody who, is acting this character, as something to bring me back down, I feel like there was sadness there in the back somewhere. Very, like, you do not see that at all with her, though. She is very, like, forward. She's very, like, says whatever she feels like. She's a motor mouth. She's talking way faster than she can think. And she doesn't even care if, you know, people are upset by that after it's said. Like, she'll just be like, okay, yeah, that's your loss. I'm going to go over here and drink some
Almost
more.
narcissist.
Very narcissistic, very arrogant, very just life of the party. And just kind of like her own horn is the only sound she needs. And if everybody leaves her because of that, who cares? That's on y'all.
Yeah.
So I do feel like, I mean, especially that attitude is very opposite of who I am as a person.
Oh, okay.
And that's...
Yeah, I guess that's what I was more or less going for, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I really, like, when he sent me this character and I got to see the script for the first time, I was very just like, wow, this is like a challenge. This is somebody completely opposite of myself. I mean, I'm not an alcoholic. Yeah. I'm not somebody that's like very overbearing or like just yaps and says things that are, you know, crazy, controversial. I can't even handle alcohol, really. I can't. Especially not tequila, which is Rachel's alcohol of choice.
Ah, okay.
So it definitely took like working myself up into layers to get to these points that just plays out so well on the screen with the co-stars and really just kind of bouncing that energy back and forth.
That's cool. That's real cool. Now, where was Toxic Abuse shot?
Both in Austin and San Antonio. You know, I shot the Skyline in Austin there, right there at the, not the Toby Center, but I forgot the name of the area, but we got the Skyline right behind it. And then we shot a lot of the exteriors out here where the old spaghetti warehouse used to be.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Shot behind there.
Back in the warehouse, like the warehouse district, right? All the warehouses.
It was tucked in too, where we don't have permits, so we just got away with it.
We were hiding.
We're hiding as best as we can, but you know, we shot there, and basically both, San Antonio and Austin.
I don't know what they call this. Again, excuse me, because I'm not in it, but what is it called when the movie is shot in a certain color? Am I saying that right? You know how it's like
a tone for...
Yeah, a tone, like the color tone. Yeah. Is it just shot just regular?
Just regular.
Just regular?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know sometimes they make it look like yellow or greenish or bluish, right? I don't know what that's called.
This didn't need that. I mean, I usually do that, shoot in black and white and then back and forth, or I shoot a tone, kind of a red zone, just to show, you know, that this character is dark. But this one, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make it kind of like you would see like in Law and Order, just a regular TV show style.
Just a regular shot.
And I wanted that when I first saw the first cut. I'm like, this is like an episode. This is like a Law and Order scene or something. It was just great. Oh, yeah. You know, it was on that same level.
Wow.
I was really happy with everyone's performance.
That's good.
Which is funny he says that because when we first connected and got together, he compared me to the lead woman. Is it Mariska? Yeah. So he made that joke, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good one to try to, you know, emulate.
Well, that's cool. Now, are you going, I guess, based on what happens with the film out there with the festivals, is this something you want to possibly continue it? Is that the right question there?
Yeah, that's the right question. My goal, I want to make what I really am psyched for is have a streaming series, and I want to make a series about detectives, but every episode's different. New cast, everything's a different tell. It's not the same one episode.
Oh, it's not the same.
I want it to be different. Like we saw this episode of Toxic Abuse. The next one's going to be a completely different cast, everything. And I was like, you know, that's never been done. And I'm want to just explore that, where we have a series where every episode's different and with a whole new cast and lead. And I just want to show different series. And I kind of want to also hit different eras and time zones, not just set in present or 1988. I want to go all back and forth.
You want to be bouncing around
all
everywhere.
over the place. Yeah, I think because you can tell that film noir genre at any time for everyone that started in 1938 and today, and hit all that timeline where we have also things that we can bring back up from that era.
Cinematography, right? Is that something that you get involved in as far as when you're going to do the shot, or do you allow the the camera guys, right, to pretty much dictate, oh, hey, I think this shot would be better, or do you say, no, I want this shot and this is where I need you to stand?
Yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble with this cinematographers because I don't let any cinematographer do what they want
Okay.
because it's not their narrative, it's not their film. They know how to shoot the setup right. They don't know that it's not gonna work for the narrative. That's the problem with sometimes with directors and cinematographers. They know how to set it up perfectly, but that doesn't tell my story right. And also, it's not about how you set up; it's about how you tell your story. Sometimes that means. So, I screen all my everything, not just cinematographers, everybody, even extras in the back who don't even have lines. I meet with them. If you can't meet with me for coffee, you can't be in the film. And I talk to a lot of cinematographers, and I can weed them out. Like, oh God, I can't work with this person. And it's just find a cinematographer who's going to say yes to everything.
Okay.
Because I just hiring them for their technicality, not for their vision.
Right, that's you.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to get me in trouble. Because
we appreciate honesty.
Yes, most definitely, yeah.
Well, it comes down to that. It
Yeah.
really does, because then at the end, who's financing it?
You are.
Now, if you were financing it, then, well, in the end, you're the one that's going to bite the bullet in it, not me. But I'm financing everything. I'm feeding everybody, taking care of them while they're there. And I'm also, protecting them of the scenes, making sure the scene is right and this is how we're doing it. And really, with cinematographer, technicality, they're there for their skills. And they might throw in a suggestion and I might run with it or I might not. But most of the time, no, I don't. I tell them how I'm going to shoot it and tell them this camera right here, and it's really simple. It's, over the shoulder, master shot, you're done. Filmmaking is not that complicated.
What was the hardest thing in shooting Toxic Abuse?
I'll give you the truth answer, then I give you the answer that people want to hear. The real answer is scheduling. That is the biggest struggle from 1998 to today. It's the hardest. The scheduling is hard. The next thing that's hard is, I think just, I don't know what it is.
Scheduling in the sense that, I've got to have all these people at this place for
exact same
and
time.
they all have to be available,
They all
and
gotta
they
be
all have
available.
to be ready to go, and they all have to show up.
Yeah. So that's the hardest. And for me, it's the hardest. But as far as filmmaking, as setting the film, I guess time. Sometimes you're just shooting, and next thing you know, like, oh God, I gotta scratch the scene, or I don't have time for, Sometimes having a location and then realizing, wow, we only have 90 minutes left, and we still have 2 other scenes. That's scary. And we had a studio here in Austin. We were filming another film, and it was getting late, and I'm like, oh my God, and sometimes things happen where it takes longer than it should, and that's just part of filmmaking. And then you have to rush. Now you're rushing to get the scenes.
Yeah. And the scheduling, I guess, impacts you, right? Too. Mostly you, because if you're the main character, you got to be there, right?
Absolutely. I absolutely have
you're
to be there.
You're the main person. You got to be there. Everybody else is there, but you're not. It doesn't get shot.
No. And usually, but Robert was very good about that. And, just having the flexibility and being very open about communication. And, that's important.
Yeah, that is very important. When people are done watching Toxic Abuse, what do you want them to go away with? What's the message?
That I've never been asked that. So.
That's a good question.
Yeah, just to feel that, we're not the only one going through this. Everyone has someone who's abusive in something, and it's just learn to cope with it. That it's everyone's problem, not just it's not fiction. it's real.
It's real. It's real.
Definitely something, you think twice about. I think it's just like a heavy feeling, especially that last moment of the film where we leave Rachel in the state that she is. It's just, wow. I would just watch that. And it's devastating to know that, that is a lot of people's realities. And, Rachel wasn't necessarily a good person throughout the film, but you still want to see that hopeful triumph, I think.
For her at the end.
For anyone going through that.
Yeah.
And the reality is a lot of people don't get that. And that's kind of just how it has to be.
Yeah. Is there anything that you're going to take from the film that's just going to stick with you, like, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years from down there? You're gonna remember, golly, I did this, or this, this scene, or just the overall story, or anything about toxic abuse that's gonna.
I mean, absolutely. Toxic abuse is very, very close to my heart. For the story, of course, and getting to play such a well-rounded, dynamic, just insane character, but also just for the experience that it's been in terms of projects I've gotten to be a part of previously versus this one. I've gotten to go to film festivals, which is something I haven't, been able to do previously. I've gotten to come on podcasts and talk about it and really share my experience.
Yeah.
And I feel like in terms of when, other actors, the community, agents, they look at my work, toxic abuse stands out as one of those, wow, she really hammered that home as a performance. I mean, it was my first time winning Best Actress in a film festival.
Really?
So
all right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is definitely going to be something that sticks with me forever and will always be that was my first longest film, first moniker, first award, first big dramatic crazy role
So
many years down the line. This is
so
a
you
first.
feel like you had a really big impact on the movie, because I mean, you're the main.
It had a big impact on me, and I had a big impact on that. Yes,
right.
absolutely.
I mean, I wouldn't have to make the film if it wasn't for her. I actually gave up on it.
Really?
And I saw her, and I just saw something like, oh God, I think let me give her the script, and and before I even gave her any notes, she already had 2 scenes sent to me.
Wow.
And when I saw it, I was like, oh my God. It's just, it reminds me of Sharon Stone in Casino. And that's what I wanted, like a Sharon Stone, and how she just completely bulldozed over De Niro and Pesci in that film.
Yeah,
She upstaged herself from that. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want to tell her that. I just wanted her to give me her own, because that's the last thing you want is tell an actor, I'll act like Sharon Stone or a character, Kate Blanchett. Don't do that. Just let them see what they give you first. And I learned that from, Spike Lee and Oliver Stone. They talk about how, you let them see what they give you first, and then chorus with them.
Okay.
But again, this was the role. What the problem I was getting from other auditions, other actresses, was she's not a badass. They're playing like they're a tough character. She's not a tough character. I mean, she's tough because of her job, but just as a person, she's not a, alpha female. She wasn't that. And I was getting a lot of that, where the delivery just was.
Do you think that because she is an alcoholic, that she's fighting demons and it makes it look like she's tough?
I think that's lesson number 1 with acting is don't act. That's the overall is you should not be acting like a badass. Like, if you interpret the character that way, you should give the performance in a way that people think, oh, well, she's kind of a badass. But they should never be like, oh, she is a badass, if that makes sense.
Yes. Because you can tell, right? I mean, you look at it.
Absolutely
you
tell
look at
the
a film,
difference.
there is such thing as overacting, right? You see some actors, even some of the great ones out there, that you're like, he was like maybe trying too hard or something.
Villains especially fall into that trope. Okay. And while Rachel isn't exactly, she's not the villain of this story, she's just a person that is doing bad things. I wouldn't say, there definitely are villains in this story. Don't get me wrong. I think the Sean and the trafficker lady are not good people. But she's not to that level. She's she's not a good person, I would say, but she's not a bad person. And so when she's interacting with all the characters, it's more, just that me comes off as, oh, you're a bad person.
Well,
and
the thing that I
badass.
had to do is create other people that are worse than her. So you can see she's trying to do her job. She's as best as she can, but she has this disease in her that's, pushing her bad. Her wrath is taking over. But, for her, like, no matter how she strikes a arrested person, a John with his hands cupped, and she hits him, right there, she's the bad guy. But I had to create a situation that no matter that the audience will be okay with that. And I created a scene where it's a human trafficking scene, and the John is the one getting arrested. She hits with we're okay with her hitting him, because then last thing I want is to portray her as a renegade, a bad cop. She's not a bad cop, but human trafficking is the worst. It's the worst crime in human.
It's a moment where the audience feels like, I mean, I'd probably do that
anyone
too.
would have done that.
Yeah,
and,
makes sense.
And she was in her right to do that, but that's where things fall. But we can see that sometimes you have to make her look good still, even though she's doing something bad.
And I will say, to Rachel's credit, there are moments where we see the humanity inside of her and a little more of the empathy. Like in the intro, we do see a lot of moments where she is real, she is raw, she is a very vulnerable, she is a person.
Well, she's us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I created.
Yeah.
That I have a montage of 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes of just her montage of a voiceover talking about her. And then the movie begins because I wanted to show that, this is not a Marvel character. Oh, I'm bad. This is, where there's no depth behind it. I wanted to show that there's depth in this story. And also I wanted to let the audience know what kind of movie we're watching, where it's very mature. It's a very mature audience for film.
Exactly. And there are people that love her and support her and do want to see her do the best. And then it's like a harsh cut to the reality of it, where we're at the climax where it's just like nobody cares anymore. Like we've reached a point of no return.
Well, I wish you all the luck with this movie. And how many more film festivals are you going to enter it in?
Oh, well, I have like 6 pending.
6?
To hear back from. Wow. Well, just to hopefully hear back from. But it has been selected by 11 film festivals, and hopefully there's more.
Would you happen to have just a ballpark of when you would hit it, so it goes streaming? So.
Well, what I'm gonna do is put all my detective noir films together as a feature.
Oh, so you're gonna hold off on doing that?
Yeah, I'm gonna put even the last
Got
one
it.
we did, Cynical,
Okay.
Betrayal. I'm gonna put all of them as a feature, like like the Tales of the Crypt, how they have
Yes.
Creep Show, how they have it's one movie but different short films.
Yes.
I'm gonna do that, so I have, because you can't really. It's hard to stream short films.
Yeah.
So you have to have a feature or something that's like 90 minutes that streamings will accept. So I'm going to put all of them. I don't know what I'm going to call it, a detective profiling or detective series, something like that. Yeah. And then put all of them, just play all back to back as one film.
Now, are you working already on those projects already, or are you working on the other ones, the other
They're
series?
done.
Oh, you already done.
I already have
He works very fast. We've already created 2 other films
I
in
shot,
this time.
another noir film right after this.
Okay.
And then I wrote another one because I was just like, this was in my head, so I wrote another one, and we finished that. And,
Oh, okay.
it was a 3-day shoot.
Okay.
And I'm still in the post-production of that. And that's it.
I was going to ask you about editing.
Yeah.
Is there a specific editor that you work with, and you want to give a shout out to him, or do you have separate editors that you work with?
No, since Toxic Abuse and EDPA, it's been the same editor in Austin. I met him at a film festival, and I've been working with him. But I'm the same way with him as I am with my cast and DP, where I tell him what I want, and this is how my narrative is. Excuse me. And he gives me what I want. As long as I tell him, too, same thing with the actors and DP. As long as we stick to the narrative, give me what you got. But it needs to be this way.
Mm. And you've worked with this guy on
Twice.
other. Oh, okay, twice. And you guys have worked how many times together?
Three now.
Three now.
Three. Okay.
Yes.
Three back to back.
We got to, he called me up for Emotionally Disturbed Person, which is the second film that we filmed after Toxic Abuse, to play a news reporter character. Because he was like, do you have that bubbly? Like, can you give me more of like an upbeat, like happy type character? Still, very ambitious. And then cynical betrayal. Yeah, cynical betrayal was the last one that's still in post-production, I believe, where I reprised my role as that same reporter, now reporting on a different crime.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Do you have any feature films?
No, not yet.
And is that something in the future for you?
I'm not, like, I really want to I want to make a series.
So that's kind of
That's
really
what
your...
I want. I don't want to do features. I want to do streaming shows.
Okay.
I'm not. The feature thing is gone. That's not interesting to me no more. I'll make one. I mean, yeah, it'd be great. But I'm into series. I think TV is great right now. I think it's better than films, but you can explore more with that. It extends more with the episodes.
I guess you could be more creative too, right? Instead of just spending all this time on one, just one feature
you can.
film.
That's one way.
But here you're.
I just don't have that interest in doing a feature film.
Oh, okay.
I think I want to do a series. I mean, come on, we have an 8-episode series. It's just nice to get up and you have another episode to do.
And Ruby, how about yourself? I mean, as far as goals, are you trying to expand out to do something big? Maybe a feature film or something like that?
Yeah. So as an actor, always growing, always looking for that next, step up the ladder. I do think the Texas film community is just growing.
Yeah.
So I do look forward to that. In terms of, what I've been working on behind the scenes, because, I am expecting.
Yeah,
so
congratulations
it has slowed
to you and your
down
husband.
the acting. Thank you. It has slowed down acting just a little bit.
Okay.
But in that regards, it has opened tons of doors in terms of working more behind the scenes, working on actual, like projects.
Okay.
So I've currently written a short proof of concept script. I got that all finished. That was one of the earliest things, a passion project that I've had for many, many moons. I did get to work on a little bit of a horror script, a short film that's not quite finished because soon my attention was very much taken. We're now working on a feature with a director. His name is AC in Austin. We're going to be doing an adaptation of an H.P. Lovecraft story, so a horror, thriller, sci-fi.
Oh, okay.
And that's going to be a feature film. We just got finished with the outline of that, so we're going to be moving now into scripting and really fleshing out the words for that. We're going to take a little break because she is due in March.
Yeah.
But after that, it'll be basically all like full steam ahead.
All right. Well, best of luck to you. Robert, is there anything that you want to say or anything that you want to talk about? Any future things that are out there for you?
No, right now I just want to put my films together, and I still have 2, and already done. And no, that's it.
Okay. And how many do you think you're going to end up doing? The short series ones.
7.
7 of them.
Yes.
Okay. Definitely want to look at them when you finish them up.
Of course.
Yeah. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I've never heard of. Well, I've heard of, like you said, the creep shows where they have the little short films within the film, right?
Yeah.
So those are kind of cool. But thank you guys for coming by and sharing your stories about toxic abuse and then also your acting career. And
Thank you.
Congratulations on your baby.
Thank you.
And man, the best of luck to you, Robert.
Thank you.
And most definitely, when those 7 are done, don't forget us. Give us a holler back. I'd like to have you back on, and then maybe we'll talk about each one of them. Have spend a little bit more time on them.
Yeah.
All right.
I like
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, see you guys.